with each other. And so in my neighborhood in Minneapolis, I now have 30% of the households, roughly 1,200 people, connecting every day about lost pets, who can recommend a good plumber, and very serious discussions about very local community issues. And so one of the challenges, when we went local, statewide, and a citywide town hall, and then these neighborhoods, it's the key is going local is about reaching more people, critical mass. And at that local level, an elected official can say, those are my voters. So that connection between engagement has a connection to actual representation. And so visualizing our neighborhood forum, it's about getting hundreds and hundreds of neighbors in the community together, and not just the residents, but also the crime prevention folks in the police department, people who work in the parks and the libraries, the schools, local journalists, so the dialogue can have an impact on various networks in the community. We did real names. We set it up so you couldn't post more than twice a day. This is all back starting in 1994. So we have sort of a decade plus experience with online community engagement well before the first Facebook page. About 5 years ago, the Pew Internet and American Life Project found out that 27% of American adults say they use digital tools in some way to connect with their neighbors, from privately emailing to belonging to online groups. And specifically within that, 7% said that they're a member of a neighborhood email list or forum. Also, if you add social networks, it was about 11.5%. So you have a lot of Facebook groups today. You have sites like Nextdoor. There's definitely more than 12% now of Americans that are engaging. But they did a survey and they asked what was your income level. So the folks that are most likely to connect with their neighbors online made $75,000 a year or more, and those that made even $50,000 or less were only 3% of adults answering that survey. So e-democracy looked at this and said, wow, what an inclusion gap. Venture capitalists looked at this and said, wow, what a business opportunity. And so one of the challenges is, obviously, if you want to connect everybody, you want to raise more voices, you need to find ways not just to connect the rich, but you want to connect everyone, but also figure out how to do that in a sustainable way. Another report came out just a year ago from the Pew Internet and American Life Project. It was about digital civic engagement. And so here they actually added up. Were you an online civic communicator? Did you sign an e-petition? Did you contact an elected official electronically? Did you comment on news or blog? And or send a letter to the editor electronically? And based on race, they found out that 30% of white adults, this is of, I believe at this point, this is of all population, not just those online, do that. 17% of Latinos, 23% of African Americans. Now, one of the issues is that if you think about the population of adults, whose voice do you think is heard more in our society when it comes to expressing yourself politically online? I think we got a gap here. So one of the things, after having been in this space now for 20 years, is I'm tired of us organizing ourselves to raise the voices of those who already show up. If we're not investing in inclusive outreach and inclusive engagement that is meaningful to people, we have a problem. And one of the survey questions in this study found that the problem is we don't ask. So in terms of being asked to take action via email, letter, or phone, there's a huge gap in this case based on race in terms of whether people are asked or not. So what our solution in part in St. Paul has been to just ask. And so we go door to door with some Knight Foundation support to actually gather people up in these online neighborhoods. We hire people from very diverse backgrounds. We've had over 10 languages spoken by our summer outreach teams. We use census data to map out where are the people with different races and how do we target our door-to-door resources to those places. We use this insane technology, so awesome. The paper sign-up sheet, we're the only website that I know that goes door-to-door, and you can sign up on paper and never, ever have to come to the website. You'll just come to your email. Yes, we have a problem with the Facebook generation, which wants everything on Facebook. So there's some issues there, but ultimately, this is the most powerful tool, and it allowed us to reach people where they are. And finally, just some wonderful pictures of our outreach, and you can find a summary of the Pew report there, an hour-and-a-half seminar from New York on New Voices with like 100 slides, and my proposal for an online working group related to New Voices so Civic Tech can get its butt organized in order to bring out not just mass participation, but more representative participation.